stream working? Is it getting online? Are we getting the stream going? It looks like the stream's going. Let's get the video going. Check out this lizard. What is even the reality of your life? Are you like a lizard looking in the sun, not knowing what is going on? I'm pretty sure this lizard has no plan. He doesn't look like he's got a plan. What's gonna happen to you, lizard, like in the next 5 minutes? Are you gonna live or die? Are you even sure what's around the corner? Wait, where you going, dude? Wait, where'd he go? Did he leave? Oh no, wait, no, there he is. He's over there. What's going on? What's going on, lizard?
Nanotechnology. It's in your bloodstream. It's nanotechnology. It's in your bloodstream.
What is happening, guys? It is the Fake Truth Show. It's on a little early tonight because it starts at midnight every night. That's the truth. Do you get it? Did you? I'm sorry. I don't want to be a jerk. You know, I like to think that people have a pretty broad range of understanding, that they're able to grasp concepts. I believe in you guys, you know, to get to the bottom of all this. The sky is blue. That's the color it is. It's is that okay to say? I wish I had like a, you know, there was like a guy I could ask, like, is that okay? Can I say airplane? I took a picture of the sky. It was, you know, no ulterior motives here. No, I just wanted to capture the color of the sky. Wasn't really looking at anything else here. I wanted to see how the day was looking, you know what I mean? And it was very blue. It was very continuously blue. I didn't really see anything other than blue. I mean, there was a little bit something there. Not the consistent sort of layered types you would see. Oh, what is that actually? You ever seen one of these? Interesting. Yeah, I keep, you know, that's just the trouble these days. It's like anywhere you point your camera, what am I allowed to say? What am I supposed to say? Beautiful telephone pole, right? Just, I got a big telephone pole in my camera today. Small cell 5G. It sort of gets in the way of your view, though. You know, you're trying to look at this guy. Oh, and these definitely look better when they're not through my windshield. It messes with the color, it seems. Yeah, telephone poles, right? That's all I really see. There's some items like camouflaged here. And notice the triangle, right? You gotta always keep your eye out for this triangle, because it has like electromagnetic radiation, something or other. They're around all of these, usually at the base. you'll see a little triangle. And if you go over to read the triangle says, like, the fuck are you doing here, bro? This is dangerous. Don't stand this close. This is where bad things happen to people. Because I guess that much they had to do. Oh, yeah, there seems to be some natural sort of non-blue sky. It seems like, I don't know, there's always been change in culture. I think we underestimate how complex everything is and how many changes everything has gone through. When you see construction these days, though, how has that even become polarizing? Oh, are they installing the sensors, for the new lockdown version of the city that they're planning on running once the big event happens? Is that why they need to tear up the road? Are they just tearing up the road because it was in the budget? They had to it was time to tear up the road? Was that? Maybe. I also know that there seems to be, I mean, maybe I'm on the road more. Maybe that's it. But there seems to be more construction than there ever has been. Things being resurfaced. And yeah, especially when you scrape the asphalt off, it's an easy way to, I don't know, put something in there. That would be a good time to do that, I would think. Research, frequency. This light is still on. What does it mean? Is there some weird, like, power vortex where this light is? Some sort of ley lines crossing over to increase the ambient energy in this tiny little corner of the world? So much so that it would actually power a device? Is that possible? Is it true that there's more helicopters flying overhead? Is that a true statement? Is it just because I'm, filming a lot of stuff these days, and then every time a sort of air traffic happens, that, I get out my camera and I'm like, oh, air traffic, let's capture it for everybody. What does any of it mean?
Nanomachines, son.
So we're gonna get into some nanomachines, son. But before we do, let's just check the headlines, guys. Come on, let's check the headlines. People are mad that they're not making more lanes on the highway because this city is going to change, and they're not really exactly being super upfront about it. But I think there's going to be a lot more pedestrians going down in this city, and of course you got to change the roads, and people are mad. They're making congestion worse, but makes sense to me. There was that whole drama with Secured Team that I guess he's back up now. That was a pretty good little attention draw there. But these articles are going the rounds again, right? Everybody in the mainstream, everybody outside of this bizarre YouTube brainscape is getting pummeled again. With the fact that there are some unexplained flying objects out there. Here's the video. Here's the guy from the military / army / Air Force that says it's real and tracked it, saw it with his own eyes. Why? We all know. I think if you've done your research, you know crazy stuff is going on in the sky. But why now? Why is it all in the Washington Post and the New York Times again? Is it just another wave? The way these things go, they wave things through, send a wave out of articles, and then adjust adjust from there. Maybe this isn't the time the big release happens, but definitely observing another wave of info here. You need to adjust to that fact. Because I like to look at things from all over the place, right? I would encourage everybody to go to phys.org and read some weird papers about stuff that you have no idea about. I'm not really a solar scientist, but this is sort of fascinating. I mean, and they're saying that there is a relationship between the tides, the water, and everything that goes on with that, and that has an effect on the solar cycles. That, right, in addition to all these other alignments and everything, that the actual tides, right, the moon causes the tides on the Earth, but then that those tides affect everything else in the solar system. It's just another sort of interesting pointer at the interconnectedness of everything in the solar system. Right? It's real. I'm pretty sure it's real. I would encourage you to go check out this video. He does give a good sort of filling in on the whole situation. For some reason, this is being brought to the forefront. This battle between our tech companies, and the point he's making that it goes way deeper, right? They've been cut off of the SD memory card list. That they're out of a lot of the sort of normalization and standardization things that have happened in the electronic industry. And if they're gonna make like a split there, right, it's gonna cause quite a fracture, because it has to do with all the components, right? It's not just Huawei's phones and Apple's phones and all that kind of stuff. It has to do, it goes a lot deeper down into the supply chain. Right, and for some reason, I don't know why this is the narrative, but it's like these it's all about the companies, right? They're the most important part. I guess the countries themselves are sort of secondary, but it really is this, right? Are you gonna go tit for tat with Apple, punish them in China if America's punishing Huawei? And what does this have to do with anything? How much of this is organic and how much of it is sort of a stage show? Is it for gaining compassion with China and Huawei? Be like, oh well, we're being such jerks. We're like ruining their company, and you know they're just trying to make phones. They're just trying to make an honest living. You make an honest living, right? You know, well that's Huawei. That's what they're doing. So maybe we should roll back these sanctions and everything. Maybe we should just chill on that for a second. I wonder if talking about this article will trigger the actual article. I just wanted, I'm not sure if you guys have ever clicked on the info box that comes up on certain videos when we say certain things or look at certain images, or right, the algorithm just sort of decides, like, too many subversive words strung together. We need to undercut this whole thing here. So what struck me first is the sort of brevity here, right? That's the whole story here. And then we go on to some other sort of articles. All you really need to know about contrails, also called condensation trails or vapor trails, streamer or clouds sometime observed behind an airplane flying in clear, cold, humid air. It forms upon condensation of water vapor produced by the combustion of fuel in airplane engines. When the ambient relative humidity, right, it has to do with the difference in humidity. That's what causes steam, right? You've been in the shower and then it heats up, and then that's where the steam comes out, right? In the 1990s, a popular conspiracy theory arose claiming that the long-lasting contrails contained chemicals that were sprayed by governments for purposes such as controlling the weather or dispensing drugs to influence the general population. No way. They wouldn't do that, would they? However, the atmospheric scientists have explained that some contrails last longer than others because of factors such as the humidity of the air, which can vary quite sharply over short distances, and the temperature of the airplane's exhaust, right? I can buy that. We're not. You're not up there. You're not. You're not like directly experiencing the wild temperature fluctuation. You know that you may just there may be like a pocket of really warm air and then a pocket of more colder air, and that's it. Really just depends on the day and the weather that's going on there. That's the end of the story. Okay. I want to make sure this messaging is getting out there because I don't know how many people are actually clicking on this article and reading it. So, right, warring factions, like major institutions, states, companies. The general vibe is that they're like fighting and they're mad at each other. Do you think the NSA meant to get this ransomware out? Did they do it on purpose? Is this like some weird fight with the CIA that they're having? And then, I don't know, CIA got the virus and put it out there and blamed it on the NSA because it is theirs. This is yet another cycle, it feels like, right? All of this stuff, WannaCry, it was all cycling through in 2017. And here it is cycling back through again, right? But now it's got Baltimore's private system or whatever. So it's getting a little more, or not private, it's the public system, the city-run system. And the NSA just never admitted to it. They're jerks, right? Maybe we should shut them down. Just let the CIA do it all. Possibly a better idea. Right? And it's okay to hurt people outside, but as soon as it starts to affect the Americans, right, that's going to be a major problem here, because this company, and that we may not believe in their politics, but they're doing a lot for us. And so, maybe we should just be nicer to them. Does this all really need to play out in the public sphere? Is that really necessary? Is that what's happening? Is it are they really fighting? Is it a show? If it's a show, how much of it is a show, right? Same questions. Do we have time to get into this? I just thought this was interesting. As far as truth is concerned. I remember when this was going around that everybody was like, there's aliens around this star, and they got them. They found them. And these are the guys that found them. And here's an actual article like written by the people that were doing the research. Because I don't know if this came out, right? People, yeah, FRBs, they still don't know what those are. They're trying to figure that out. Right? But they were looking at pulses for similar sort of things, and then they found these crazy things called peritons. Right? And they were pulses, similar sort of vibe, pulsing. I mean, long story short, it turns out that it really just was their microwave oven opening. Peritons come from the microwave oven. Solved. We could generate peritons in our day. They're still calling them peritons, even though I don't think they deserve such a cool name when it really just is your microwave oven opening next to the telescope receiver. Without the telescope service itself in the way, right? It was under some certain conditions, but I I would encourage you to check out this article because it's interesting how the scientists talk about stuff like this when they make a mistake or they found out that it was literally the microwave in the break room that was causing all these anomalies. But for the media's perspective, this story was apparently too tempting not to spin. Most of the media coverage about this work is centered around baffled scientists, alien signals from space, in a way that makes astronomers sound puzzled, like puzzled boffins who thought they'd found something Nobel Prize worthy that ended up coming from next door, right? Joke's on you guys. And I guess it is a place that they were looking for extraterrestrials. It just happened to be more terrestrials. And she doesn't really go into that here. Did they report it initially as thinking that it was extraterrestrial? Was it just that it was there in this location? Trying to get to that source. This has been totally making the rounds. This video of Elon Musk's space satellite train. It is kind of mesmerizing. Are they really all up there just like traveling in a straight line? It's pretty trippy. But this video comes from this guy, right? And I just wanted to go check out his blog. Secret Spies in the Sky. I guess they just sort of collect data and they can figure out when these things are passing by and they get their cameras out and check them out in the right spot, which is it's pretty interesting, I would say. But then I went back. It's like, what else did this guy write, right? And for the most part, it's article after article about why they did a test where they were going to blow up some, anti-satellite tests because I guess that's going to be a thing where satellites are shooting laser beams at each other because the countries stop liking each other. Seems reckless, like he's saying. And this is just really off the beaten path, but again, I think I encourage it and I find it interesting to head out here because, right, even if this person is totally like wrapped in some total trick, it's interesting to see it from their perspective, right? Because when you read stuff in the mainstream, you can feel that sort of tongue-in-cheek behind it, and it makes it really hard to tell whether something is truly honestly coming from the heart or real or not or any of that. When you go and read these like weird science blogs, from real scientists, that they may be deluding themselves. They may be having a simplistic idea. They may be completely right, and you're the one that just has no idea about any of this space missile trajectory. I couldn't calculate. That's not my thing. He's saying that the junk that they shot out like starts to float upwards and then it may hit real satellites and that they can't control that. That stuff sort of, floats up in once it's in orbit. Interesting. I'd say vaguely. Yeah, I don't know about these bumpers. We'll see. It's trying to keep me on track. But don't just end up rambling on one specific thing for too long. We're gonna get into nanotechnology. Yeah, I'm still not finished with it yet. It's definitely a good show. Danish? Wait, no, I'm not sure. Maybe? Yeah, Danish. Totally Danish, right? Been learning a little Danish just watching it. Yeah, it's back on for the second season. Second season has a slightly different vibe to it, but the basic premise is that there's, a horrible disease that got into the water, and it rains down and makes everybody just pandemic their faces off instantaneously. which is, I guess unfortunate for everybody involved, right? Again, just more and more images of the pandemic, of people suffering, and then everybody else, in the aftermath trying to pick up the pieces and survive. And that's nothing new, right? But this is from Denmark. This is a completely different demographic and country, and we see a lot of the same images, a lot of the same ideas. And this has nothing to do with this specific show. I mean, it has everything, I guess, to do with this specific show. But these things they repeat, and they've been cycling. These concepts have been cycling for so long that, right, they've all become tropes and sort of jokes of each other. But
Just relax. More
Christ!
prick.
What is it?
Cutting-edge nanotechnology. Heart blood. Microchips in your bloodstream to track your movements in the... See those readouts? Monitor your vital sign anywhere on the planet.
That sounds marvelous.
Insurance policy. By direct order.
Completely understand.
Good.
right, he gets it. James Bond understands that you gotta inject nanoparticles when you run away. It's just better that way, actually, if you could track everybody. And you didn't have to just give them silly mark of the beast or something. It should just be in their bloodstream. It'd actually be a lot easier if you didn't have to deliver it like that either. That maybe it could just, like, I don't know, fall from the sky or something crazy like that. Think about that for a second.
No biology. 2 plus 1. Indicoxin tonem inhibit. No zero. It's sting antidote. Yet his internal seem liver not too good. Certainly him then.
Has been drinking too much. I was looking for that first clip, which is from Spectre, and I reached a little farther, but I wanted to make sure and show you guys that particular alcohol reference, right? Technology in entertainment, nothing new at all. Oh, and yeah, this is drama. Too boring. This I thought was interesting. In 1881, the Russian writer, apparently the first idea, right, of text that can be written smaller than a hand could write. But it wasn't until 1931 that micro hands. So it really has been around for quite some time. This idea that tiny little robots could help you out in some way. Right, and it's not just this movie. They're gonna tell you, right, in the Wikipedia page that it's just like a handful. Here's a handful of examples. It's really not, Ghost in the Shell, Star Trek. It's really not that many. We could put it in this article. It doesn't really go on too long, right? But that's really only part of the story, I would say. A very, very small part of the story. Because they know, I mean, in this TV Tropes article, they definitely pointed out there's a lot more. They don't have enough collected here. But it's over and over again. It's over and over again. And they're always sort of, it's theme and variations, but it's always the same sort of concepts of, surveillance and being able to heal or hurt the person that they've been infected with, right? That was Nanomachine's son. That was from Metal Gear Solid. And all of this is like, it's happening. It's real. Is the part, right? And I guess if there was like a nanobots Encyclopedia Britannica info box, they would probably say, right, a lot of this tech is experimental, it's very far off, and nobody's actually really like used it for anything real yet, even though, yeah, that short story is like super old at this point. right? And I've read a lot of these articles. May one day be treated by tiny self-propelled micro submarines. And you can go read the paper. Probably sort of a proof of concept, you know. And I would encourage you, just keep going deeper. I feel like I had another one. Right, but all of this is possible, is what I'm saying. But at the same time, all throughout entertainment, it is like a surefire way to seem insane if you think nanomachines are a thing. Right? They're gonna be like infesting your brain. Let's see if I can play some of these.
There's loads of nanotech. Any damage is the feed goes in.
You just swallowed thousands of small
Wait. Don't, I'm giving away the good stuff.
There's nanotech. Any damage is the feed goes in. There's loads of nanotech.
Loads of nanotech. Let me get back to that in a second. I just want to share these hexagons with you. It's so beautiful. It's beautiful hexagons. Showing the grid, you know. Just a little graphic for you there. So, hold on. Before I show you the main clip, I'm trying to reinforce my argument here. Let's go back to the web, right? This is just a couple that I pulled.
Any damage is the feed goes in.
Right?
We have nanobots. Of course. We have
The nanomolecular functionality is instantaneous. The nanomolecular functionality is instantaneous.
Nanobot.
The nanobots are attacking the narcotics. The nanobots are attacking the narcotics.
Is that where the nanobots?
Right. You're supposed to be a crazy person if you think nanobots are infecting you.
Bots have purified the water yet? First, let's see if my nanobots have purified the water yet.
Put a nano-tracker gel in the wine. Put a nano-tracker gel in the wine. Put a nano-tracker gel in the wine.
Right. It really is like over and over and over and over and over again. That's sort of the point. Are we hitting that nail too hard? I just want to get to my main clip here. Because that did come early. I'm still working out my intros and outros. That's supposed to come at the 33 mark, right? Well, you know, it's a work in progress. Let's just say that. Like around now, yeah, like around the 33 mark. Okay. All right. Is it this one?
Nanocapsule out before. Nobody will get out before found looking for it. We have taken our precautions. Vitamins. You just swallowed thousands of small nanocapsules. Each allergic reaction. If you move outside, capsules will be triggered satellites. Using a virus.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot left for you guys. I'm going to show you this clip. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of people here tonight. You know, I definitely want to open this thing up to questions. You know, take a little break and then see what's on your guys' minds. You know, love to read the comments. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but it's fascinating. You know, interacting with like literally random people. What is in your brain? It really, really deeply interests me. So nanomachines, right?
Nobody will get out before found looking for it. We have taken our precautions. Vitamins. You just swallowed thousands of small nanocapsules. Each allergic reaction. If you move outside, capsules will be triggered satellites. Using a virus spreading instantly in the body. No chance survival. No chance survival.
All right, no chance of survival. For some reason, the pandemic and nanomachines are like mixed up in this show, where there is a virus, but they can also put the virus in sort of like metallicized metal capsules that go, yeah, they're nano-sized, and then they flow all through your bloodstream, and they can just press a button that they activate with satellite and explode it, and then the virus is in your body, so you die right away. Sort of like a drug delivery method. And also another variation on the theme of just like, insane maniacal corporation wants to keep tabs on, their assets, so they end up, what do you even call this? Like, because it's like holding them ransom. By penalty of death will you do the job that you've signed up to do. Otherwise you're going to get nanites in your neck. And, who knows where this show is actually going. They fight, they have emotions, they split up the group, and then they get the group back together, and then, we feel for this soldier guy who got the nanites in his neck. We understand the soldiers are just trying to get home to their families too, and they've been nanite injected. I don't think any of that's the point. I think the point is to make sure we really know about nanotechnology, right? What other point could there be? You need to know when nanotechnology really gets introduced into culture, into the mainstream. If they had to start then with the explanations of like, okay, so you can't see it, but it's a machine, and it's just like, it's so tiny that it, right? People would be freaking out like, you can't put machines in my blood. That's, you got to get it all scraped. You're going to scrape up my blood vessels from the inside. No, they're tiny, right? They're just going to give you a little allergic reaction, but it's not a big deal. And then you're going to be protected from the virus, or the virus is going to release at a pre-planned moment, and then you'll die then. It's a little mixed signals. But I think, yeah, get your measles vaccine, bro. Definitely go get them shots. Yeah, I think all of this imagery is tied together. But why do you think is it so important that we understand what nanotechnology is? What are the possible uses of it, right? Surveillance, drug delivery. Compare that with what's going on in real life in the scientific articles. Double check whether those scientific articles are being sensationalist or not to get clicks, just like everything else in the world. And maybe at some point you'll arrive someplace near the truth. I mean, they gotta already have these, right? They sort of gotta. I would be really, really surprised if these didn't exist already. Long time ago. Yeah, so you better go get your shots. Make sure you stand out in the sun, especially when there's any sort of, consistent trails going down. When you get that really milky, hazy feeling up in the sky, make sure you go out and take a big breathful, because you don't want to miss out, on whatever role you're going to be playing in, whatever this is all training for, the event. Are you going to be a soldier, fighting for the company that's administering whatever's going on, trying to pull it all back together? Are you going to be on the other side? Are you going to be fighting the power from the inside, trying to protect your group? Well, either way, the good guys, the bad guys, they all got these nanites in their neck. Stay safe out there, guys. I'm gonna do other things. But it's always great talking to you. I'll see you soon.